Hey everyone, bonsoir tout le monde. See already there's some people. Hey Mario, glad you can make it tonight, buddy. Salut Sylvie, hello Carol, bonsoir Marie. Hey Paysanne Rob, salut Marie-Christine. Hey Tutrizième, bonsoir Manon de Nouveau-Brunswick. Salut Maryse, Marlène et Denise. Bonsoir tout le monde. Hello everybody. Just going to give a few minutes, give some people some time to join us. We have a big show tonight. I know my buddy Abby, who's been on with me before, has calls it a podcast, so I started calling it a podcast. Hey Numik, hey Brian. So on a un gros live, si on peut appeler ça un podcast, un gros show, un big show ce soir. Je vais juste donner 2 minutes pour donner un peu de temps au monde pour nous joindre. Ceux qui sont supposés d'être là pour entendre ça seront là. Those who are supposed to be here to hear what we have to say tonight will be here. And those who aren't supposed to be here, they won't. Et ceux qui ne sont pas supposés d'être ici pour entendre ça, peut-être ceux qui ne sont pas prêts à entendre certaines vérités, certaines connaissances, ne seront pas là. Et ça, c'est correct. Salut Normand! And bonsoir Lorraine. And that's what it is. On commence très bientôt. We'll start very soon. Puis, on va parler très bientôt de l'Eclipse avant que je prenne des questions. We're going to speak about the Eclipse before we take some questions, but I have a few things to talk about before. Hey, Paisana Joanna. Salut Claudette. And that's right, Rob. You know it, Mr. Rob Rocket Carabin. So, we're going to get going. On va commencer. Je vais essayer de dire au début en français et en anglais. I'm going to try my best to speak a little bit in English and French at the beginning. Comme toujours, je prends toutes les questions en français. Je vais répondre en français. And as always, all the questions in English, I will answer in English. Bonsoir, Fred. Je vais essayer de répondre au plus de questions possibles. Salut, Marie-Christine. I'm going to try to answer all the questions that I possibly can. Sometimes it's just not possible. Des fois, c'est juste, ce n'est pas possible. C'est ça, Simon, le survivant de l'Eclipse. Exactement. Bonsoir, mon ami. So we're going to start. I'll start off in English. Bonsoir, Hélène. Then I'll move a little bit to French. These are the following topics that I'm going to discuss briefly and that I want questions about. We're going to talk about magic, the New Age movement, even though I've spoken about it God knows how many times, the different worlds, the different dimensions, and the eclipse that we just had the other day. On va parler de ces sujets-là un petit peu, la magie, et quand je dis magie, vraiment magie noire, sauf que toute la magie devient vraiment la magie noire, le New Age, le Nouvel Âge, même si j'en ai parlé plusieurs fois, les différents mondes et dimensions, et l'éclipse qu'on a vécu cette semaine. Pourquoi sont tous reliés? Magie, Nouvel Âge, les différents mondes, dimensions, puis l'éclipse. Why do I want to talk about all these topics? It's very, very simple. They're all related. In many ways, they go hand in hand. Okay? So, magic. Where does magic come into this? Well, a lot of people in the New Age are playing with magic, and they don't even realize it. Magic goes back to the beginning of time. And I know people say, but Jared, you study Kabbalah intensely. Isn't there so-called magic in Kabbalah? Not the way that people do magic today. It's not the same thing at all. Furthermore, very few people in history have ever even tried or attempted, even major Kabbalists. Only a handful throughout history have used Kabbalah knowledge to change the physical. And it was always for a holy reason, with permission from God. So it's not like magic today that every Tom, Dick, and Harry can do. And magic is a big part of the New Age movement. In fact, when people play with cards, when people are doing certain energy work, such as Reiki, and they're doing certain ceremonies, they are playing with magic. OK? It all fits in. La magie, puis la nouvelle âge, il y a plusieurs dans la nouvelle âge qui jouent avec la magie. OK? Puis la magie, ça n'existe pas, la magie blanche. OK? Ça devient toujours la magie noire. J'aime pas même nécessairement l'expression magie blanche, magie noire. La magie, ça devient toujours mauvais, même si dans le Kabbalah, le terme magie est utilisé, mais on peut compter sur un, sinon deux mains, des grands kabbalistes depuis le début, depuis Adam et Ève, qui ont utilisé certaines connaissances du Kabbalah pour manipuler le physique. Et c'est ça ce que ça fait la magie. Mais pour eux autres, c'était avec la permission de Dieu. C'était pour une raison sainte et c'était pour aider l'humanité. Et il y a bien du monde qui joue avec leurs cartes, leurs cristaux, leur énergie comme le Reiki, qui font la magie noire sans même le savoir. Parce que toutes ces choses-là faisaient partie des nations comme ancien Égypte, ancien Babylone, okay, qui jouaient, ancien Perse, qui jouaient avec la magie noire. So where does it come in the different worlds and dimensions? I could spend hours talking about the different worlds and dimensions. Most of you probably wouldn't understand the majority of it. I have a hard problem understanding a lot of it. So I'm not going to get deep into it. Why bring up the different worlds and the dimensions is very simple. The point of black magic, and we're going to touch upon the eclipse in a minute, but the point of what they were doing with the eclipse was to have access to different worlds and different dimensions. And there's many different worlds, many different dimensions. There's untold numbers of different races. Just between angels, there's 10 different races of angels. There's 10 different races of demons. And there's untold other entities in the different worlds and the different dimensions that we are completely unaware of or have no understanding of, even if we are aware of their presence. Okay, so I'm only bringing up the different worlds and dimensions because I will tie it in a minute to what we just experienced with the eclipse. Okay, les différents mondes et dimensions, je ne vais pas aller en détail ou en profondeur en parlant de ça. C'était juste pour vous expliquer. Et on va parler de l'éclipse dans un moment. Ce qu'ils ont essayé de faire pendant l'éclipse, c'était d'avoir accès aux différents mondes et différentes dimensions. Puis c'est assez compliqué. Mon point, c'est pas vous éduquer sur tous les différents mondes, puis les dimensions, c'est compliqué. Mais moi, je comprends une fraction de ce que j'apprends dans le Kabbalah. OK? Alors, pour ceux qui étudient pas le Torah ni le Kabbalah, c'est très, très, très compliqué. Il y a juste dans les anges, il y a 10 races des anges, puis 10 races de démons, puis il y a bien des autres races des entités qu'on ne sait pas. Et même certains qu'on connaisse, on n'a pas grand impôt sur eux. Alors, mon point, ce n'est pas d'essayer de vous expliquer les différents mondes et dimensions. C'est juste pour vous montrer comment c'est relié, parce que la magie, souvent, c'est pour manipuler le physique et avoir accès au monde spirituel, puis des autres dimensions, puis des autres mondes. Et d'utiliser ces mondes et dimensions ou manipuler des entités qui sont dans ce monde, dans ces mondes et ces dimensions. Now, the eclipse. I'm going to say something. And by the way, just before, because I'm going to finish, I just need 5 minutes to talk about this. Please write the word question in the chat before your question. S'il vous plaît, pour une question, mettez le mot question en capital, en gros. Et après, mettez votre question. Comme ça, c'est plus facile dans le chat. Pour moi, mon ami, Melissa, qui m'aide. Et merci encore, Melissa. Thank you so much, Melissa, for helping me out with this channel. Without you, I would be completely lost with all this technology stuff. So thank you. So it's important. Please write question. I will try to get to it, okay? I'm going to say something, and it may upset some of you, but it's not meant to be upset. It's meant to push you, if you fall into this category, to dig deeper, to push harder to connect to God. I did a post on Facebook. Well over 100 people comment telling me that they agreed with what I said. In my post, I said, anybody who did not feel off, hi, Winston, you want to say hi, Winston? Anyone could just see Winston snout there. Hi, Winston. People are looking at you, buddy. Look at the screen, Winston. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, you got to get down, buddy, okay? Anybody who was part of the eclipse, meaning North America, Mexico, if you didn't feel off, if you didn't feel the heaviness, if you didn't feel the evil, if you didn't have some type of physical manifested disturbance, such as a headache, such as an eerie feeling, such as goosebumps, such as feeling nauseous, wanting to vomit, getting dizzy, you are not as spiritual as you think. And again, I don't like the term spiritual. The devil's spiritual. Demons are spiritual. Any entity that comes from the spirit realm is spiritual, whether good or bad. And I don't mean it in a bad way. And thank you, Manuela. I see the super sticker. Thank you. It's very kind. God bless you. Very much appreciated. If you can't tell me that you felt off or weird or at least strange during the eclipse, and many people felt it the day before, the morning, after, okay? If you didn't feel in any way, shape, or form off, you're not connected to God. You're not as connected to God. Rather, let me say you're not as connected to God as you think you are. Anyone who's truly connected to godliness, even a little bit, would have felt how evil the eclipse was. Je vais parler en français dans un instant pour parler de l'appel de l'éclipse. Je dis en anglais, puis pour vous autres, je vais le dire en français, c'est premier, okay? It was so evil. It was so heavy. You remember I said last week? You remember in my life, for those of you who were here, I said last week that it would be evil, it would be bad, and that I didn't even think that it would be the real moon, and it wasn't. I've seen pictures, videos from all over North America and Mexico. You can clearly see it was not the moon. In fact, anyone who thinks about it will say, well, they were looking up with glasses or not. Okay? It's funny, they never saw the moon. Just out of nowhere, at some point, a black image just kind of came and started to cover the sun. And it was supposed to last 4.5 minutes or something. I think 30 seconds later, the full eclipse was already done. So there's no way that this had anything to do with the real moon. Okay? And maybe not even the real sun, for all we know. Their entire agenda was a fraud and a lie. Furthermore, their whole purpose was to open portholes. When you felt off, when you felt uneasy, when you felt something was wrong, when you didn't feel good, it's because evil entities were coming into this world in this dimension. That's what they did. They opened a massive porthole and maybe many other portholes, and these entities came through. That's what you were feeling, okay? And as soon as I'm done in French, I'm going to start taking questions, okay? Pour l'éclipse. Et pourquoi c'est relié? Je parlais de la magie, la nouvelle âge, des différents mondes et différentes dimensions. Toutes ces choses-là ont des choses en commun. C'était pour faire connexion avec des autres mondes, des autres dimensions, puis des entités dans ces mondes, puis ces dimensions. L'éclipse, le point de l'éclipse, c'était pour ouvrir des portails, pour que des mauvaises entités, des mauvaises races rentrent ici. Mais des grands portails, c'est ça ce qu'il faisait le CERN en Suisse. C'était d'ouvrir la plus grande portail qu'ils n'ont jamais faite. Sûr et certain. J'avais dit la semaine passée dans mon live que j'avais pas un bon feeling de l'éclipse, qu'ils vont ouvrir des portails. OK? Non seulement ça, c'était pas la vraie lune. Puis tout le monde qui pense à ça, qui regardait l'éclipse, ou sans lunettes ou avec les lunettes, même bullshit. Il n'y a personne qui va me dire qu'ils ont vu la lune. Juste à un moment donné, c'était une affaire noire qui venait puis cachait, that's it, that's all. 30 secondes plus tard, fini. OK? C'était pas la vraie lune. C'était une fraude. J'en ai vu plein de vidéos, plein de photos de partout d'Amérique du Nord et du Mexique. tu vois clairement, très bien, la lune ici, l'éclipse là. Ça ne prend pas un génie, là. Pour comprendre, c'était toute une arnaque, là. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'ils ont fait? Ils ont utilisé la magie noire, puis des trucs que les anciennes nations utilisaient pour ouvrir des portails aux autres dimensions et aux autres mondes, pour laisser rentrer des entités physiques et spirituelles. Puis je vais dire quelque chose, peut-être ça va déranger du monde, OK? Puis excuse si c'est le cas. Mais la vérité, j'ai fait un post sur Facebook où j'ai dit, tout de suite après l'éclipse, si quelqu'un n'a pas ressenti mal, si quelqu'un n'a pas ressenti qu'il y avait quelque chose qui n'allait pas, si quelqu'un avait aucun ressentiment du mal, qui n'a rien ressenti, que pour quelqu'un, tout était beau, tout était correct avec l'éclipse, c'était fantastique, OK, il n'y avait personne, quelqu'un qui avait aucun goût de vomir, aucun mal de tête, rien qui dérangeait leur corps puis leur paix. C'est pas quelqu'un qui est aussi spirituel qu'il pense. Et en plus, je n'aime pas le mot spirituel. Le diable et les démons sont spirituels. OK? Tout ce qui vient du monde spirituel, c'est spirituel. Mais quelqu'un qui a rien senti de mal pendant l'éclipse n'est pas aussi connecté à Dieu qu'il pense. Drette de même pour mes amis québécoises, drette de même calice. C'est pas pour faire fâcher le monde, c'est pour vous pousser à comprendre. Si toi, tu tombes, si quelqu'un ici tombe dans ça, de quelqu'un qui n'a ressenti rien de mal pantoute pendant l'éclipse, travaille plus fort pour ta connexion avec Dieu. Prie plus fort. Aille plus de foi parce que tu n'es pas connecté. Impossible que quelqu'un qui est connecté avec Dieu, même un petit peu, impossible que cette personne-là ne ressent pas quelque chose de mal, que l'éclipse était malin, que l'éclipse était malsain, que l'éclipse était terrible, que l'éclipse avait une énergie très mauvaise et très lourde. Directement. Impossible. Puis dans mon post, j'ai eu plus qu'une centaine du monde qui m'ont dit qu'ils voulaient vomir, avaient des maux de tête, maux d'estomac, étaient épuisés, ressentaient un pesanteur, une lourdeur. OK? Du monde qui voulait presque tomber dans le pomme, qui était étourdi. Ça, c'est quelqu'un qui a une connexion de Dieu. Quelqu'un qui pensait que c'était tout beau l'éclipse, n'a absolument rien senti. Je prie pour eux parce qu'ils ont très loin à aller. Là. Très, très loin. There, so I see some comments. My friend, Mrs. Piccicello, I was cold for 2 days and just wiped out. Well, there's someone who has a connection to God. Didn't maybe understand why. She didn't know it was because they were opening portholes and all kinds of demonic entities were coming through, physical and spiritual. Now you know because I'm telling you, but you understood something was off. So now I'm going to take some questions. Je vais prendre des questions. Puis, pour ceux qui sont là avec nous, qui ne sont pas abonnés, pour demander des questions dans le chat, c'est important que tu sois abonné. For those of you who are watching, who still aren't subscribed, I don't know why you would still be here after all this time and not subscribed. But if you are, you can't ask questions in the chat unless you are subscribed. Very, very, very important. There's a question there. I don't know if it's my screen, but even with glasses, I have a problem reading that. Jesus Christ. Also, they were spraying up chemtrail storm during the eclipse. Yes, well, that's another thing. I don't know, Melissa, if you're able to, for the next question, somehow put it bigger, or maybe I did something to my screen, but I, even with glasses, have a hard time reading that. I have to really squint. Yes, I don't know whose the name is. It looks like an image of a black cat. So Mr. and Mrs. Black Cat, I'm sorry, I can't read the name. It's too small, but yes, they were spraying us with poison before, during, and after. And I have to tell you something. I had somebody, there were people commenting on my post when I was talking about how they were spraying in the sky and people would have a hard time seeing the eclipse. And people would tell me, yeah, it's overcast. There's a lot of clouds. You kidding me? Some people still just don't get it. They still don't get. that we're being poisoned, we're being sprayed. And I want to add one other thing. I was talking about the New Age, puis ça, je vais dire dans un instant en français. Thank you for the comment, Mr. and Mrs. Black Cat. I got a message today from someone, je vais dire en français dans un instant. C'est un pratiqueur d'un nouvel âge. Puis tu vois, j'ai fait un post, j'ai demandé au monde qui était dans le nouvel âge s'il y avait quelqu'un qui voulait venir ici sur mon podcast parler avec moi. Pour un petit débat, une conversation. Il n'y a personne qui avait assez de courage pour le faire. Mais c'est toujours le monde qui m'envoie des messages avec des commentaires en privé. Et j'ai eu un message aujourd'hui, juste pour vous montrer, guys, I'm going to say this in English in a second, juste pour vous montrer l'insanité de ceux qui sont dans le nouvel âge. La maladie mentale de ceux qui sont dans le nouvel âge. L'ego de ceux qui sont dans le nouvel âge. Pour ceux qui disent qu'ils n'ont pas d'ego, c'est la même personne qui se prend pour des maîtres, puis des dieux, puis des déesses. Anyway, c'est... OK? Juste pour vous montrer comment c'est diabolique. Elle me dit dans le message, elle n'est pas chrétienne. Je m'en fous, t'es chrétienne ou pas, là, ça n'a rien à faire. Moi non plus, je ne suis pas. Elle me dit qu'elle croit en Dieu, mais elle ne croit pas en diable. Alors, elle croit dans le bon, mais elle ne croit pas dans le mauvais. Là, c'est dans plusieurs dans le nouvel âge, c'est un petit truc du diable dans le nouvel âge pour faire croire au monde qu'il n'existe pas. Alors déjà, tu as un 10 sous, un 25 sous dans tes mains, puis tu penses qu'il y a juste un côté, il n'y a rien sur l'autre côté. Ça prend un débile malade, un débile mental pour penser de même qu'il y a un côté puis pas l'autre. OK. Et après, elle me dit qu'elle croit en Dieu et tout ce qu'elle fait dans le nouvel âge, le Reiki, le tarot, les cristaux, c'est dans la lumière de Dieu. Christi de conne de marde. Si tu n'as pas lu l'Ancien Testament, tu n'as pas lu même le Nouveau Testament, tu parles de Dieu et tu ne sais même pas que Dieu dit que quelqu'un comme toi va à l'enfer, qu'il va détruire, que quelqu'un qui joue avec ces choses-là, c'est idolâtrie et c'est magie noire et qu'il va te détruire. Mais tu vois la maladie mentale. You see, guys, I got a message today from someone in the New Age, and no one had the guts to come on. When I asked people to come on my podcast and discuss New Age with me and debate it with me, okay, I'm open to it. I'm open to it. No one had the guts to do so because they're all full of shit. They're all full of effing shit. Okay? But they send me messages. Merci à Irène Normandin. C'est très, très, très merci. C'est très apprécié. C'est très gentil. Vraiment, ça touche le cœur. Thank you so much. Merci, Irène. They message me and they comment. And I got a message today from someone. This is what she tells me. I do Reiki. I do tarot and all this stuff. A master, a maître Reiki, master Reiki, okay? And for someone that claims they have no ego, these are people who think they're gods, goddesses, and masters. When Jesus himself said, I'm not a master, my Father is the only master of the universe. I mean, these people are mentally ill. They're sick, and their ego is bigger than the world. It's disgusting, to be honest with you. So she tells me she believes in God, but not the devil. You have to be mentally deranged, if not an outright lunatic, to have a coin in your hand and see one side and not the other side. So she believes in God, but not good, but not evil. She doesn't believe in the devil. Okay. Then she goes on to tell me that everything she does in the New Age, with her Reiki and her tarot and all this shit, is for God, in the light of God. Stupid, stupid, stupid woman. Stupid, stupid woman. You obviously never read either the Torah, the Old Testament, or the New Testament. You tell me you believe in God, but God says clearly, never mind Kabbalah, it's repeated hundreds, if not thousands of times in the Kabbalah, how evil you people are and how demonic it is and how you have no place in the world to come. It's written several times in the Torah. It's spoken about in the New Testament. God says you people are doing black magic. You're committing idolatry, which is the worst crime for God. It's why commandment number 1 and number 2 out of the 10 commandments deal with idolatry and worshiping false gods and false idols. And God says, I will wipe you out. You people are despicable. To the point that anyone who even goes to use your services, I'll wipe them out too. That's how much God despises what you're doing. And you sickos, you lunatics, have the nerve to tell me you're doing God's work. Anyways, on to the next question. I can go on and on about how sick, deranged, and mentally incapacitated these people are. I don't want to waste more of my breath. Comment peut-on se protéger? Francine, c'est ça? Protéger de quoi? Protéger de quoi? De l'éclipse? Du monde dans le nouvel âge? Alors, pas sûr comment vraiment répondre à ça, mais je vais dire ça. La prière. Première étape, dernière étape dans tout. Prier direct à Dieu. Direct à Dieu. Très important. OK? Prochaine question. Robert, my question. Sorry, it's really small. I don't know. I must have done something in my computer. I can barely read this. My question is, what would happen if you went through a portal? You're asking you, Rob? Well, Jesus. Well, you're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be, bro. And here's the thing. Half the entities on the other side of that portal are good. And half the entities are bad. And even the ones that are good, by the way. If you're not someone that's following God's commandment, if you're not someone that, I know a lot of people say that they have faith in God. Okay? I know a lot of people say that they believe in God. But let's say robbing someone and going to the church, saying a few Hail Marys and donating money is not believing in God. And I'm not a saint. I'm far from it. I don't claim to be a saint. I'm the first person to tell you I'm far from a saint. I try to be the best sinner that I can be. Should he have some water? Yeah. Okay. But even the good entities, if you somehow end up in a place you're not supposed to be, it's not going to end well for you. They'll turn you around fast and there'll be punishment. Because they have God has given them the right and the ability to put punishment to those who enter certain realms they shouldn't be in. And by the way, I'm happy you brought up this question, Rob. It's why I'm against deep meditation. And I just read I'm currently reading another very, very deep Kabbalistic book. The name of the book is not important. It's not something I would tell people to read because it's very deep and it's very heavy, as my paisans would say. Very complicated. The rabbi who's a big Kabbalist warns about meditations in the sense that unless you're a holy person, unless you're someone that's observing God's commandments and his book, and you have an extreme faith in God and you're grounded and you're physically fit and you're mentally fit and you're emotionally fit, don't do it. Because it doesn't matter how holy someone thinks they are. The evil entities will get you. They will swallow you up the minute you enter into that deep meditation. Because when you're in a meditation, you're going through other worlds and dimensions, so to speak. Okay? And it's dangerous now. If you're talking physically going onto another world and another dimension, my friend, best case scenario, I'm talking best case scenario. If they determine whoever's there, best case scenario, you run into good entities and not bad, good races and not bad. And they determine that you're holy, and they determine that you're a good person and you want to do God's work, they might gently throw you back to the other side. That's a best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you end up being food for some very, very evil entities that will suck your energy before they ravish your body. Kind of sound a little familiar. I mean, I have to be careful on YouTube, but some of our friends in Hollywood and in the government and in the royal families, doesn't that sound a little familiar? How they siphon siphon the energy of, I don't know, say if we were making it up, children, and then do bad things, right? So best case scenario, the best case scenario is still not even a wonderful thing, Rob. So, bro, I hope that answers your question. I'm sure you're not planning on doing it, but if you hit a note on your guitar or something and you end up somewhere you shouldn't be, get out of there and get out of there fast, bro. Numek, Jared, hold the control key on keyboard and move up the mouse wheel until the letters will get bigger. Do I even have a mouse wheel? Where's the control on my thing here? Okay, here, hold on, let's try. Whoa, what did I just do there? Whoa. I don't know what I just did there. Oh, hold on. No, that's no good. Are you guys seeing this, or is it just me?
Just you.
I don't know what the heck I just did here, but I don't see myself anymore, and I just did that. Okay, guys, I don't know what you. Yeah, I don't know what I just did here, guys, but I'm small. Can you see me on the screen at all?
No. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I see you on the screen.
Let me see if I can.
You disappeared for 2 seconds and now you're back.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm sorry, guys, because you're telling me what to do, new Mick. Wrong buttons, and I don't know what the heck I just did there. You see me good, but I don't see myself good. But that's okay. I'm not playing around with it anymore. I'm sorry. So my wife might have to help me read. Do you see when they ask questions on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so if I need your help, you let me know. I know Marie's. There's she did a super sticker. I think it's $10. Am I right?
Yes.
Well, Marie's, merci beaucoup. C'est tellement gentil. J'apprécie. C'est très apprécié. Merci. Vraiment. Okay, so everyone's saying you see me normally. I'm back. We see you good, but you're back. Okay, so Prince, Checkers, Christina, everyone's saying I'm good. Maybe we all took too much Eclipse. No, I didn't take too much Eclipse, Manuela. Trust me. But I'm here. So, okay, so there's a question. Let's see. Even with my glasses, if I actually had to have, what does that say, a mirror?
No, is it actually bad to have a mirror facing your bed?
Is it bad to have a mirror facing your bed?
That invites entities.
Because you heard it. Okay, so let me clarify this for Christina, for you. That's Christina who asked that?
Yes.
I've spoken about this before. Having a bed facing your bed, having a mirror facing your bed, having a bed facing it would be freaking weird, eh? Having a mirror facing your bed. I mean, I'm not a fan. I don't have a mirror lying around in places. I think we only have mirrors in the bathroom, right? We don't have many in the house in any case. Here's the thing with a mirror. It's not because it's facing your bed that it can necessarily invite entities. Where the danger lies is that a mirror can become a porthole very, very easily. And I always tell people, and they've shown this sometimes in the movies. I mean, I don't watch this shit because I'm an exorcist. I see this in real life. I don't need to watch demon movies or horror movies. I see it in my head and I see it in my office. Okay. And when I go to severely haunted homes. But a mirror can be a porthole. And I always tell people, don't stare too long into a mirror. Okay. If you stare long enough into a mirror straight, just staring at it. And I'm telling you now, so I'm on record, don't do it. If you do, eventually something will look back at you. Fact. So maybe the danger, Christina, of having a mirror facing your bed might be that you're tempted to look at it. Let's say you're just kind of chilling, you can't fall asleep. You might be tempted maybe to look into the mirror for an extended period of time. That's where the danger, I think, would come in. Okay, so I hope that clarifies it for you, because once a porthole is open in the mirror, and I myself have been in homes where I've helped people to do it, or I've had them do it. Don't worry, new Mick, you didn't mess things up. You tried to help me, and it was going up and down. Just kind of blew up. So it's not your fault. You meant well, and you were on the right track. It could be I just didn't do it right. Also, don't worry about it. So once a mirror is open as a porthole, it has to be broken. The glass of the mirror, you call it glass, I guess, has to be broken. Okay? And then it has to be thrown out the mirror. So I think, Christina, that's where the danger lies. I don't think necessarily having it facing your bed's a big deal, but staring into it can be a very big deal. It can be a big deal. So Nat, we'll take another question. This is from Numek. Pourquoi les trois fusées envoyées vers l'éclipse? Tu parles, Numek, j'imagine, des trois fusées. I know what a fusée is. Thank you, Shane. Tu parles des fusées qui étaient lancées par NASA. En premier, est-ce qu'ils ont vraiment lancé des fusées, des rockets, des fusées? Est-ce qu'on a vu? Est-ce que quelqu'un a vu des vidéos? Et même à ça, la plupart des vidéos qui nous montrent, c'est du bullshit, c'est fake anyways, là. C'est tous green screen, c'est tous du bullshit. Alors, est-ce qu'ils ont vraiment lancé des fusées? Je ne sais pas, on n'était jamais sur la Lune, il y a un firmament, on ne peut pas croiser, on ne peut pas aller dans l'espace, c'est impossible. Alors, toutes les vidéos qui nous montrent des autres planètes, c'est une arnaque et un bullshit au complet. Est-ce qu'ils ont lancé des fusées? Je ne sais pas. Et c'est ça, tu dis, c'est vrai, on n'a rien vu. Comme la Lune, personne n'a vu la Lune. On a vu juste une éclipse, mais pas la Lune. Sauf dans certaines vidéos et photos, tu vois la Lune complètement loin de l'éclipse. OK? Mais même s'ils ont lancé des fusées, la seule raison qu'ils auraient fait ça, c'était peut-être d'essayer d'ouvrir des autres portails en même temps. OK? Je vais expliquer quelque chose et je vais dire ça en anglais après. Dans le Kabbalah, même dans le Torah, mais c'est expliqué en profondeur dans le Kabbalah, le diable a beaucoup plus de puissance quand la lune est forte. Ça veut dire le soir. Les anges qui travaillent pour Dieu ont beaucoup plus de pouvoir pendant le jour. Alors imagine quand le soleil est fort. Alors imagine quand le soleil est bloqué, le pouvoir que ça donne au diable et ses forces. Et les mauvaises forces, les mauvaises entités. Alors, on peut juste imaginer qu'est-ce qu'ils ont essayé de faire comme ouvrir des portails, non seulement avec CERN, avec leur machine, mais avec des fusées, s'ils ont lancé des fusées. Et le monde m'a dit, peut-être Jared, ils ont lancé ça pour essayer de détruire le firmament. Ils ont essayé pendant des années, il sait déjà qu'il ne peut pas détruire le firmament. Dieu a créé le firmament. Puis il y a de l'eau en bas, puis l'eau en haut du firmament. Ils ne sont pas capables de toucher le firmament. OK? Alors, mais on ne sait pas. Ils ont essayé de quoi? S'ils ont même lancé des fusées, on ne sait pas avec NASA. C'est tout ça une organisation de fraude. Anyway, so I just want to mention, guys, that we're talking about rockets that NASA claims to have launched towards the eclipse. First of all, NASA is such a fraud. Did they even send up any rockets? Did anyone see any rockets? I don't know anyone who did. There's no videos from my knowledge of it. Okay? So even if they did, their goal would not have been to destroy the firmament that God created, because they can't. They've already tried. They know they can't break it. But it would have been to open more portholes. And I have to explain, it's a concept that's mentioned in the Torah, but it is elaborated tremendously in different Kabbalistic works in the Kabbalah. Because Kabbalah has many, many books. It's not one. The devil and evil forces have a lot more power in the night when the moon is strong. And the good forces have more power during the day. The devil has a harder time harming us during the day than he does at night. So can you imagine when the eclipse is happening? And again, it was not the real moon. They blocked that sun on purpose. You're just giving the devil and his evil forces so much more power. Okay? So God only knows how many portholes they actually were able to do. Okay, to open. OK, so hopefully, j'espère que nos mix, ça répond aux questions. Puis je vois Marie-Christine, un super sticker, $10. Je le vois parce que je l'ai vu dans le chat, alors c'est plus facile pour moi de voir. Ben, merci encore, Marie-Christine. C'est gentil. C'est apprécié. Je ne peux pas dire plus que ça, vraiment. Merci beaucoup. That's Fred asking a question. Oh my God, can I see that? Ils peuvent prendre l'éclipse des années en avance. Oh, prévenir, tu veux dire, Fred? J'ai la misère à lire ça, alors je pense que c'est ça que tu as dit. Je vais checker avec mon téléphone, je vais faire plus grand pour dire ça, juste pour être sûr, Fred, parce que peut-être tu dois changer de lunettes, mais même avec tes lunettes, je peux voir absolument rien. Fred, il dit, ils peuvent prédire, c'est ça, les éclipses des années en avance. Comment? Ben, Ils disent toutes sortes de choses, ils prédisent toutes sortes de choses, mais comme je te dis, c'était pas un vrai éclipse, c'était pas la vraie lune. Alors, ils disent qu'ils l'ont... Oui, je sais, Fred Predict, c'est ça. J'avais compris, j'ai vu bien avec mon téléphone. C'était pas la vraie lune. Alors, il peut prédire ce qu'il veut. Mais c'était même pas un vrai éclipse. Alors, dans le passé, des fois qu'on a eu des éclipses, est-ce que c'était des vrais aussi? Ou c'était aussi des fausses? Alors, c'est très facile de prédire des choses, Fred, quand c'est toi qui crées les choses. Tu s'entends? C'est très facile de dire au monde qu'est-ce qui s'en vient quand c'est toi qui vas créer ça. C'est trop plus facile de même. Winston, that water's not for you, buddy. You got to get down. OK? So, j'espère que ça répond à ça, mon ami. Next question. Attends, je vais checker ça. Je vois que c'est Normand, mais peut-être si je vais ici, puis je le lis dans le chat. OK, je vais le lire dans le chat, je vois beaucoup mieux. Alors, c'est normal que j'ai ressenti une grande anxiété au moment où la pénombre est arrivée, malgré que le ciel était toujours aussi clair et le soleil aussi brillant. Oui, Normand, puis toi, t'es chanceux, mon chum, que tu étais dans une place où ils n'ont pas trop sprayé, là. Que tu étais dans une place où ils n'ont pas trop sprayé, parce qu'ici, tout le ciel est écrit avec le poison qu'ils ont sprayé dans le ciel. Alors, c'est exactement pour ça que tu as eu de la misère, Normand. C'était à cause des portails qui étaient ouverts et à cause que quand le soleil était bloqué, le diable a eu une puissance énorme. Énorme. Il n'était pas le seul. J'en ai parlé déjà depuis l'éclipse avec des centaines. Il y a plus qu'un 100 qui a fait des commentaires sur mon post que j'avais mis sur Facebook et Instagram. Mais j'ai parlé avec peut-être 200 d'autres qui m'ont envoyé des messages, des textes, des courriels, choses de même pour me dire comment ils ressentaient très, très mal. Alors, tu n'es pas le seul, Normand. C'est exactement à cause de ça, mon ami. Prochaine question. Christina, can you explain manifestation in the New Age movement? How it is evil? Well, that's a good question, Christina. Now, we hear about manifestation. Wanting to manifest something in and of itself is not evil. When we pray to God and we ask God for things, it is a form of manifestation. How they do it in the New Age practices is very different. Number one, very often they're trying to use magic to manifest things, which is a big no-no. Okay? God calls nations black magic nations and idolaters that need to be destroyed. Even when they're not using any type of magic. A lot of them believe that just by focusing the mind enough on something, they can create something out of thin air. I think there was a movie or a movement called The Secret or the something. I don't remember exactly. There were books out. What a scam they had going. The people came up with this crap, made millions and tens of millions of dollars. While the fools who bought their books and watched their videos, how you can sit on your couch and if you think about it and view it enough in your mind, it will just happen. Why it's a problem, especially by these people that are doing it in the New Age movement? Because you're playing God. You think you're God. Now, God has no physical characteristics. But for us to understand a little bit about him, the little that we can comprehend of God, we'll put it in certain physical ways so you can understand using physical characteristics. God would think something into creation and it would happen. That's God. And a lot of these people who told me, well, I can manifest anything. And I've told them, okay, I like bananas. Can you, with your mind, take all the time you need, sit here near me. If you want, you can take all day. I don't care. Create me a banana with your mind. You don't even have to take off the peel. It can be with the peel. I'm not asking you for ice cream, chocolate syrup, or a cherry on top. Just a banana. Well, I can't do that now. Really? Because you're full of fucking shit. That's why. Okay? It is trying to play God. But keep in mind, Christina, these people in the New Age call themselves masters. When Jesus himself said, I'm no master. Don't call me master. My Father is the master of the universe. Many in the New Age actually go so far as to call themselves like gods and goddesses. I mean, that's bad. So that's the biggest problem with their manifestation is they believe that they're like God, they're trying to play God. And they actually think that just by thinking something, now don't get me wrong, everything is energy. And thinking positive is important. You can help yourself heal. You can be a better person by thinking positive on a consistent basis. Yes, you can. But to manipulate physical reality to a high extent by simply thinking it in your mind, it's not how it works. That's why God says, study Torah. God says, pray to me, follow commandments, be good, and I'll do the manifesting for you. Okay? So before anyone jumps on me and says, wow, no, yes, if we think positive, thinking positive is very important. You can change your life by thinking positive. But you certainly can't manifest a banana into existence, let alone a fancy car, a mansion, or your dream job by jerking off on the sofa, okay, eating potato chips, watching the Super Bowl. Yet in your mind, well, I'm driving a Ferrari and I have a mansion in Malibu on the beach. It's not how it works. It's, again, mental illness. Thank you for the question, Christina. Simon, dans le monde spirituel, on parle beaucoup des anges et des démons, mais est-ce qu'il y a une majorité d'entités plutôt neutres, un peuple spirituel comme le monde normal sur Terre? C'est une bonne question, Simon, mais j'ai un couple de problèmes avec cette question, puis je t'explique pourquoi, mon ami. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de monde qui sont normaux sur Terre. En premier, il n'y a pas grand monde qui sont neutres. OK? Qui sont neutres. Ça n'existe pas. C'est très rare. Est-ce qu'il y a, par exemple, alors sur Terre, là, les humains oublient ça, on ne peut pas comparer. Est-ce qu'il y a des races? Puis oublie pas, ce n'est pas juste des anges ou des démons. Il y a certaines races des anges où certaines peuvent être un peu plus mauvais. OK? Certaines races de démons qui sont quand même mauvais, mais pas aussi mauvais que les autres. Mais il y a beaucoup d'autres entités qui ne sont pas des anges ni des démons. Y a-t-il certaines de ces races ou dans ces races, pas une race au complet qui est bon ou mauvais nécessairement ou neutre, mais dans ces différentes races, y a-t-il un moitié ou un quart qui sont neutres, pas nécessairement mauvais ou bons, mais juste qui s'en foutent de nous? Ils s'en foutent de notre existence, ils ne veulent rien savoir de nous, ils font leur affaire? Absolument. Absolument. Mais quelqu'un qui rentre, disons, dans une méditation qui est capable de traverser des mondes puis des dimensions, qui se trouve avec même certaines dans ces races-là qui sont neutres. Ceux qui sont neutres vont tourner assez mal très vite. Ils vont dire « t'es qui » pour être venu ici. Si tu n'as pas une bonne réponse, puis tu veux prouver que tu travailles pour Dieu, puis tu as besoin de certains mots pour dire, puis pour montrer des preuves, parce que ces races-là seront capables de voir tes péchés, puis des choses que tu as faites. Ils vont devenir assez mal très, très, très vite. Quand je dis qu'il y a ceux qui sont neutres, ce que je veux dire par ça, Simon, c'est qu'ils ne veulent rien savoir de nous. Ils ne sont pas là pour nous aider comme les anges de Dieu. Ils ne sont pas là pour nous faire mal comme les mauvaises races, comme les démons et d'autres mauvaises races. Ils ne veulent rien savoir de nous. Mais le moment qu'on croise dans leur territoire, comme un loup, la plupart des loups sont neutres, dérangent, mais croisent dans le territoire des loups, tu vas voir qu'est-ce qui t'arrive. Je comprends, mon ami? Très bonne question. Merci pour le demander. Lucy, is mentalism also magic? Well, I can only offer you my opinion, and based on my research and my work. Many people might have a different opinion than me. We'll see. But in my opinion, yes, it is. Your You're playing around with the mind. In some degrees, I'm going to tell you, I believe that past life regression is also magic. I believe that hypnosis is also magic, and it's dangerous. I'm not a fan of it. And I know people will tell me, well, it has helped people. It can help people. No doubt. I don't dispute that. But how many times have you people heard me say, the devil will give you 99 truths to slide in one lie that will ruin your life. And the devil will heal 99 people or someone 99 times just to ruin them and kill them the 100th time. And this is crazy. There's 100 people watching right now, by the way. And it was at 99. The minute I said the 100th time, it turned to 100. You see, God? God's paying attention. I don't want to say God's watching my podcast, but somebody up there is watching this podcast. I'll tell you that much right now. So I hope that answers the question, Lucy. Anything that's playing around, in my opinion, with the mind or things. I mean, the question you have to ask yourself, is it something that someone should be doing? Playing around with mentalism. Is it a legitimate service of God? I'd love to see someone prove to me that something like mentalism is. And even though someone might argue that past life regression might help people, hypnosis might help people. Yeah, I know, and it can. I get it. But in the end, it could turn very, very, very bad, and it can open a lot of things that really shouldn't be opened, especially when you're playing with the mind. How do people do meditations, by the way? When someone's doing a meditation, and again, I repeat, I'm against deep meditations. They're dangerous for exactly these reasons. They're doing it through the mind. How do they communicate with us? When the angels speak to me, or those who have passed on will come by, I don't seek them out, but if they will pass by to tell me something, sure. So you're playing with someone's mind, you could be opening all kinds of doors that just shouldn't be open, that should be left closed. Thanks for the question, Lucy. As always, a wonderful question. Marie-Christine, I got to find her question here in the chat, because here we go. Avec ces portails qui ont été ouverts pour le mal, est-ce qu'ils ont changé la dimension dans laquelle nous sommes? Ah, c'est une bonne question. C'est pas que ça change notre dimension, puis notre monde, ça change notre réalité peu par peu. On est supposé de vivre en paix avec chacun, de faire des bonnes choses. On s'entend que l'humanité a fait beaucoup de péchés, des très graves péchés. Puis on a donné beaucoup de pouvoir au diable et ses mauvaises forces. Alors ça change tout le temps, ça devient de pire en pire. Mario, I see you have a question. I'm gonna try to answer your question, Mario, next. Okay, buddy? Mais certainement, le plus des entités, mauvaises entités qui rentrent. C'est comme quand Marie-Christine en parle, comme le monde a ressenti un pesanteur qui a ressenti sale, mauvais, pendant l'éclipse. Plus des entités qui rentrent, le plus de pesanteur puis saleté qui rentrent dans notre monde puis notre dimension. Alors, dans ce sens-là, oui, ça change. Notre réalité, ça devient plus lourde, plus difficile. Ça, c'est sûr et certain. Très bonne question. My man, Mario, Paisan, what is an out-of-body experience? And is that the same thing as stepping into a portal? That's a good question, Mario. Out-of-body experience, I don't want to go into too much detail because this could be a subject all on its own. But an out-of-body experience can be two things. Sometimes people, when they're playing around with heavy meditations, deep meditations, again, which I don't suggest for many, many, many reasons. And I'm not the only one. The Torah and all the Kabbalistic works tell you people be real careful messing around with this stuff. Okay? So sometimes when someone's doing a deep meditation, their soul is kind of traveling. So you see things. And some people consider that an out-of-body experience. You can see different places, different entities, different dimensions. Sometimes while we sleep, we know, because it says so in the Kabbalistic writings, we know that when we sleep, part of our soul will travel. And, we're getting information and we're seeing things. And then that part of that soul is coming back. Okay, technically that's considered an out-of-body experience because part of the soul is leaving the body. But what you're probably referring to is astral. It's called astral projection, which I can do, but I don't. It's dangerous, and I have no reason to do it. There's no point in doing it. Where some people learn certain techniques where they send part of their soul out of their body to fly around. And that's an out-of-body experience. Sometimes when people die and then they come back, they can see things. Like it's an out-of-body experience. So the out-of-body experience can mean different things, but generally people refer to it as astral projection, where they're sending part of their soul to kind of fly around and see things and experience things. And again, I don't suggest it. It's not something that we should ever try to do just to do. Because while part of your soul is gone, that leaves a little bit of space for something else to come in, right? So we have to be very, very, very careful. And is it the same as stepping into a porthole? Well, in a sense, if you're stepping into a spiritual porthole, meaning you're not physically, let's say, walking through a porthole, but your soul is going into another porthole, then yes, that would be considered similar to an out-of-body experience. The problem is, depending on where it goes, sometimes it's hard to come back, and sometimes it comes back with a lot of very, very, very bad things that are attached to it. Excellent question, buddy. Thank you. Next question, please. Is that another one from my buddy Mario? Another question there? Is that it?
Yeah.
Is it possible for a regular person to open a portal without knowing it, and how? It is possible. And again, some people do it during meditation. They don't realize that they're doing it. Sometimes they're doing it by, like I said, staring into a mirror. And you stare at it long enough, something looks back. It means you've opened a portal. Someone playing with Ouija is opening a portal. That's why I'm against the New Age. Somebody playing with tarot cards. Yeah, someone giving spiritual significance to an object and using it for spiritual reasons, you're potentially opening a portal every time that you use it, whether it's crystals, whether it's tarot cards. Definitely all these people that are playing with energy work like Reiki and the rest of this nonsense, they're opening portals. So there's many, many, many different ways. Sometimes just saying certain expressions when someone's not careful with what they're saying could potentially open portals. So there's many, 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 many different ways, my friend. And regular people open them all the time. That's part of the problem. That's why I'm against these New Age practices. I understand most of the people who practice some type of New Age, I call it black magic, hocus pocus, but most of these people are decent people who have good intentions. They want to help, they want to do well, but that's where the devil gets you. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Thanks for the question, Paisan. Sir Pierre, let's see, let me find him in the chat here, because on the chat I can read, it's bigger. So how many demons are we going to have to deal with? 1 minute total darkness of the sun with fake moon. Well, Sir Pierre, for those who don't know, my Portuguese brother from another mother, may she rest in peace, and I know she's in a good place. Pierre helps me from time to time with my exorcisms. When I have crazy stuff to do and I need a boost, Sir Pierre is always there to help me out. Thank God, because sometimes I just need that boost, and he's the one to provide it. So that's why he says we're gonna have to deal with. Now, how many of those demons are gonna end up in my office? Time will tell. And yes, it was a fake moon. I don't care what someone would ever show me. No one will ever convince me that was a real eclipse, that was a real moon that blocked out the sun. Never. It's not going to happen. Okay? So you're correct. Now, how many demons possibly came through that portal? Whether they be physical or whether they be spiritual. I listen, I don't know. Can I throw out a number? I'll throw out a number because, people want to probably hear. To have some type of idea. And I'm probably far off the mark, meaning whatever number I throw out, whatever NASA did, whatever CERN did, whatever they did in the sky with their fake moon and their fake eclipse, I have to believe at a bare minimum. And again, if I'm off the mark, there's probably way, way more. It's got to be several million, if not tens and tens of millions of demons and evil race entities that came through those portholes, both in physical form, and in spiritual form. Now, spiritual form, most people wouldn't see. Physical form, underground with their machine at CERN, only the people underneath at CERN are going to see all the physical things coming through. And God only knows the tunnels they have to transfer them all over the place. But while everything was nice and black during the eclipse, even if it was only for 30 seconds, millions and millions even of physical things could have come through there and no one would have seen a freaking thing. So to answer your question, Sir Pierre, or rather your comment, I have to believe millions, if not tens of millions of new disgusting pieces of garbage demons have entered into our realm, and you and I will have to destroy as many of them as we possibly can. And I wonder, as I see it went from 100 to 91 people watching, so I have to wonder if some of those people, who were watching came through I don't know if they came through the porthole, or they don't like what I'm saying, or they realized they really liked the eclipse and they didn't think anything is wrong, so they went to pray. Who knows? Who knows? Great question. Next one. So who's asking this question here? Let me find it. It's Marlène. Est-ce que s'en vient-il pour notre futur? Oh, et que s'en vient-il pour notre futur avec les entités? Ben, je suis pas sûr si je comprends la question. Je comprends la question, mais pas vraiment. Qu'est-ce que tu veux dire? Qu'est-ce qui s'en vient pour le futur avec les entités? Je suis pas sûr si je comprends, mais je vais répondre anyways dans ma manière, Marlène, parce que je suis pas sûr. Tu as exactement ce que que tu voulais demander. Ben, il n'y a rien qui change, sauf que c'est pire. On prie à Dieu, on attend le Messie, on fait notre part, on reste fort avec Dieu. On essaie de reprendre les mots et l'amour de Dieu et d'être les meilleures personnes qu'on peut être et pour aider le plus de monde qu'on peut aider. Et être le plus fort qu'on peut. Et on attend le Messie parce que même dans les écritures kabbalistiques, je vais te dire, j'ai lu encore ce matin puis hier, on peut juste faire un petit quelque chose. Et si chacun faisait un petit quelque chose, ça ferait une grande différence. Mais même à ça, on a tellement emmené le mal ici sur Terre, dans notre dimension, dans cet monde, sur cette terre, que sans que Dieu lui-même intervienne, on est fini. Alors, n'importe ce qu'on fait, on a besoin de Messie, on a besoin de Dieu. C'est trop mal, ce qui se passe sur la terre. Mais Dieu veut que chacun fait leur part, en tout cas. C'est très important. Alors, j'espère j'ai répondu un petit peu à ta question, Marlène. Oh, I was waiting for Tritrisium. Here we go. I did see in the past a psychic tarot and regret it. How can I ask God to forgive me? I even had tarot cards in my home, but they've been destroyed over a year ago. So, Tritrisium, I'm not a rabbi, even though if I wanted to be at some point, I probably could have been. I'm not a priest. I know some nice ones, but I'm not one. But I will tell you this, and I don't speak on behalf of God. I will never claim to speak on God's behalf. And even people who've done sessions with me, when I talk, you will never hear me say, God himself gave me a message to tell you. Never. Never, never, never. Those days don't exist since the temples have been destroyed. And until the third temple and the Messiah is here, that type of prophecy, anyone who tells you that they're speaking on behalf of God, what they're going to answer for afterwards, I don't want to be them because it's real, real bad, okay? But what I will tell you is, A, you regret it. In Hebrew, we call it tshuva, which means repentance. You regret doing it, okay? 2, you destroyed the cards that you had. 3, you admit publicly that you did something that you didn't feel was right, and you feel bad for it. And 4, you're searching for how God can forgive you. Now, again, I don't want to speak on behalf of God. I can only speak based on my knowledge of the Torah and my knowledge of limited knowledge of Kabbalah. I'm not a big Kabbalist by any stretch of the imagination, believe me. Okay? He has forgiven you. Because the main step, the first step someone needs to do is admitting to themselves that, okay, I did something wrong. I did something that God probably is not happy with. The second step, which is a real biggie, is feeling bad about it. Realizing, hey, I don't like what I did, and I never want to do that again. That's what teshuva is. That's what repentance is. That's what repentance is. I don't know what my dog just destroyed over there in the corner, but he destroyed something. That's what puppies do, huh? So, and the fact that you want God to forgive you and you destroyed the cards, you showed God by destroying the cards that you have no intention of ever doing that again. That's real repentance, my friend. And God will always forgive someone who makes an effort to change their ways. So, based upon what I've learned in the Torah and in Kabbalah, He has forgiven you, my friend. He has. God bless you. Great work. Good job. I see there's Pascal. There's wow, a super sticker, $25. Pascal, je sais pas quoi dire. Vraiment, c'est tellement apprécié, tellement gentil. Ça me touche vraiment le cœur. Honnêtement, merci beaucoup, Pascal. C'est très, 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 très apprécié. Sylvie, est-ce que les reptiliens existent vraiment? Si oui, est-ce que c'est dans la catégorie de démons? C'est une bonne question, Sylvie. Oui, il y a une race reptilien. Le diable fait partie de cette race-là. Actuellement, c'est une race, mais ce qui est intéressant de ça, puis ça va choquer peut-être le monde, la plupart du monde qui me suit ou qui connaît un minimum de l'Ancien Testament ou probablement plus Nouveau Testament, on sait que le diable, actuellement, était l'ange de la lumière. On sait que l'entité qui a plusieurs noms, mais qu'on le connaît comme le diable, était un ange. Alors, actuellement, la race reptilienne, c'est actuellement une des races angéliques. Mais dans cette race-là, tu as des bons, puis tu as des mauvais. C'est à peu près moitié-moitié. Lui, c'est un des mauvais. Puis beaucoup qui l'a suivi, c'est un des mauvais. Puis, il y a plusieurs opinions, pas juste un, plusieurs opinions que cette race-là, reptilienne, en passant en hébreu, on appelle ça séraphim. La race du séraphim, actuellement, c'est un des plus hauts races des anges. Sur les 10 races, chacun est un qui est plus haut que l'autre. Si ce n'est pas le top, c'est 100%, dans toute opinion, c'est dans le top 2 ou 3, ce n'est pas numéro 1. Alors, les reptiliens bons et mauvais viennent du plus haut race des anges. Compliqué, hein? Étrange, hein? Dieu fonctionne dans des manières qu'on ne comprend pas. Mais oublie jamais aussi, Sylvie, ça me donne l'opportunité de parler de ça vite. J'en ai parlé un couple de fois, mais le diable travaille pour Dieu. Il prend un peu trop au sérieux sa responsabilité. Mais lui, il répand le mal pour nous donner la chance de battre le mal puis devenir des meilleures personnes. Lui, il aime trop ça. Puis il a pris ça à un niveau qu'il n'était pas supposé de prendre ça. Et c'est pour ça que Dieu va lui punir comme on ne peut pas imaginer. OK? Mais en effet, il travaille pour Dieu. Comme tous les races des anges. Même les mauvaises, Dieu utilise pour une raison. Si on aime ou on n'aime pas, c'est pas important. Dieu sait ce qu'il fait. Alors, peut-être ça t'explique un peu plus. Très bonne question. Merci, Sylvie. Et ça, c'est une autre. Je vais juste checker dans le chat pour que je vois. Manuela, another super sticker. Thank you, Manuela. Thank you very much. Everything is appreciated. God bless. Thank you so much. It's very kind. Thank you. Lucy, let me find a question from Lucy in the chat. When people see auras, what is that all about? Wow, I don't know what you mean by what is that all about. First of all, what is an aura? An aura is an energy field. Aura is just a fancy name that they give to energy field. As I said, everything is energy. We're all energy. God is energy. The universe is everything's made out of energy. Some energy becomes physical. Some remains non-physical, like in the spirit realm, in the angelic realms. Okay, the aura is the energy field that surrounds you, and sometimes for someone who's very in tune with energy, that person can sometimes see other people's energy fields, what they call auras. Sometimes the color will change because when you're happy, you give off a certain energy. When you're angry, you give off a certain energy. When you're sexually excited, you give off a different energy. When you're confused, you're going to give off a different energy. When you're stressed or anxious or worried, you give off a different energy. Some people can see that, and other people can actually feel it. So that's what it's all about. Most people probably can't, but I would say there's a small percentage of people who are able to either see or feel people's energies. I mean, when you, Lucy, if you are invited to a party and you're talking to a bunch of people that you're introduced to, I have to imagine maybe some of them you get a good vibe from and you want to talk with them, and the other ones you're kind of like, yeah, no, I don't think I want to hang around you. You're not seeing their aura, but you're feeling it. So I think that would be the best way for me to explain it. Excellent question. Thanks, Lucy. Pascal, ma conjointe n'ose pas parler aux anges, elle parle Dieu seulement. Excellent, Pascal. On est tous supposés de parler Dieu seulement. Parce que Dieu a créé les anges. Okay? Dieu a créé les anges. Okay? Si quelqu'un connaît la secrétaire d'une grande compagnie ou la propriétaire d'une grande compagnie, vous avez tous les deux sur le téléphone, tu vas l'appeler qui? Si tu as besoin de quelque chose, le boss, pas le secrétaire. Si on demande quelque chose à un ange, en premier, c'est idolâtrie. Dieu n'est pas content. Mais qu'est-ce qui va arriver? L'ange va tourner, il va dire, hey, boss, est-ce que c'est correct? Est-ce que je peux leur aider? Puis Dieu va dire, ben non, pourquoi il a demandé à toi et pas moi? Alors, c'est très bien, Pascal. Je sais pas si j'ai bien compris. Je pense que ce n'était pas une question, c'était un commentaire. C'était ça, Pascal? J'espère que je n'ai pas manqué ça. Anyways, je pensais que c'était un commentaire, pas une question, mais si je ne me trompe pas, j'avais vu peut-être une exclamation, excuse. Anne-Marie, my friend, Jared, can you please explain what happens when I can't explain what happens when someone dies. As much as I would like to, Anne-Marie, it is so complicated to explain. I could probably do a live for 10 hours and have trouble explaining all the different things that could potentially happen to someone when they die. It's very complicated. What I will tell you, and I know people have different experiences, they see certain things and then they come back. Understand that the soul has different levels to it. Parts of the souls can go to different places. And unless someone is a real saint, which is very, very rare these days, I certainly am very, very, very far from that. They have to do a little pit stop in Gehenna, which is hell, what Christians might call purgatory, to be cleansed. Some people, and there's different levels. There's many, many different levels. So depending on the level someone goes to and how long they're there and what part of the soul that sinned is going there. So it's very, very complicated. There's other concepts that sometimes, instead of all parts of a soul having to get cleansed in purgatory, so to speak, before they can go up, to the levels of heaven. And again, there's so many different levels of heaven. There's not just one. There's unlimited levels. I don't know if I could use the term unlimited because only God is unlimited, but there's untold levels. We don't know how many it could be. Okay. Sometimes those people part of those souls will reincarnate while other parts don't. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. The reason we reincarnate is because part of that soul didn't accomplish what they were supposed to accomplish. And most people don't. Sometimes you have to live many, many, many different lives to accomplish one aspect of what it is that you need to do. Some parts of the soul will accomplish what it needs to do, and other parts of the soul will not. So this is why it's very, very complicated. I won't say the name of the book because I wouldn't want any of you to even go to page 1 of it. But I read a book that talks about reincarnation and souls, and just the concept of the body dying and where the soul goes. There are entire series of Kabbalistic books, and I'm talking deep, complicated books that are written about this, that for me to even claim that I would be able to properly explain it to you, I wouldn't go down that path. I'm not qualified at that level, and even if I was, we can spend days going over it and it will still be complicated. So unfortunately, Anne-Marie, I like you, but unfortunately, that's just something I can't answer. And anyone who claims to have a direct answer to that, no real huge rabbi, no real big Kabbalist, real one, not the fake ones, will be able to give you a proper, full answer to the question that you just asked. There's so many different factors that are involved in what happens next. The only thing I can tell you is there is a next, and the soul lives on. The soul continues, and parts of it will probably come back again, and other parts will stay where they are, and other parts, before they go up there, are going to get cleansed in a river of fire. That much I can tell you. That much all the big rabbis, all the Kabbalists agree on. More than that, speculation, assumption, that's it. But thank you for the comment or question, my friend. Simon, my buddy Simon's got another one. Est-ce qu'il y aurait un événement céleste qui serait le contraire d'une éclipse dans le sens bénéfique pour nous? Oh, ça c'est une bonne question. Honnêtement, Simon, à ce point-là, au moins direct de ma tête, peut-être si je pense plus, je peux penser à quelque chose. Ben, pour nous, OK, c'est compliqué. Ma femme dit ce qu'on appelle Rosh Chodesh, c'est le nouvel mois. Mais ça va avec la lune. Hein. Le calendrier hébreu va avec la lune. Puis je sais, je viens de vous dire que quand la lune est forte, le diable a beaucoup plus de pouvoir. C'est pour ça, sur le nouvel mois, il y a beaucoup de prières spécifiques qu'on fait, mais on peut juste faire sur le nouvel mois juif, hébreu, qui limite la puissance du diable. On ne peut rien faire à ce moment-là. Alors, je ne veux pas parler de ça. Alors, je vais dire plus que quand le Messie vient, il y aura bien des choses qui se passent dans le ciel. Est-ce qu'il va descendre du ciel sur un Pegasus ou sur une âne? Peut-être. Est-ce qu'il va voler lui-même? Peut-être. Est-ce qu'il va juste apparaître sur terre? Peut-être. Mais il y a bien des choses qu'on va voir dans le ciel. Alors, sans être capable, juste direct de ma tête de même, penser à quelque chose céleste pour contrer le mal, disons, pour être franc, à part des miracles que Dieu a déjà faits, qu'on parle dans le Torah, mais qu'est-ce qui s'en vient? Je dirais juste l'arrivée du Messie, parce qu'on va voir des choses, des miracles dans le ciel. Une chose qui est claire, dans les prophéties du Torah, pas le Nouveau Testament, mais du Torah et des grands kabbalistes, est que quand le Messie vient, Dieu dit que les miracles qu'on va voir, ça va rendre ce qu'on a vu en Égypte, que Dieu a fait tous les miracles en Égypte avec Moïse, ça va rendre ce qu'on sait de l'Égypte, puis la délivrance de ma peuple, les Hébreux, ça va rendre ça comme passe-partout. Que les miracles qu'on va voir, ça serait beaucoup, mais beaucoup plus puissant et incroyable de ce que Dieu a fait en Égypte avec Moïse puis les Hébreux. Alors, je veux dire que la prochaine chose qu'on va voir céleste, qui va peut-être vraiment être la seule chose qui va vraiment contrer une éclipse puis tout le mauvais qui a été fait, c'est quand ce qu'on appelle Mashiach, quand le Messie s'en vient. Là, tu vas voir des affaires célestes incroyables. Ça, c'est sûr et certain, mon ami. Bonne question. There's a question there. Mario, we're going to get you soon if I can, buddy, okay? Sweet flower. I keep having dreams of the sky in crazy colors like nebulas. What happened to the question?
Sometimes I see giant alien and massive storm.
Sometimes, okay, hold on. Just my wife's repeating for it. And Melissa, next time, please, if you could just leave the question there because I'm reading it from the chat because it's too small for me to read on the thing, okay? So say my wife says, what? Colors like nebula. Sometimes I see giant aliens or massive storms. I also saw an angry face. Is something going to happen in the sky? Well, sweet flower, and I don't know what flower it is, by the way. I know it says sweet flower, you specific type of flower. I'm just having fun with you. Look, it's not because someone, whether you, me, or anyone else has a dream, that it necessarily means something's going to happen. I have spoken about this in videos and in other lives before. We have to be very, 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 very careful. I don't know you. But what I will tell you is this. Or maybe I do know you and you're using a different name. I have no idea. But, and I've spoken about this. When we dream, both the good and the bad side are speaking to us. Our soul is getting information, is being downloaded. Okay? Actually, even the ancient biblical prophets, most of the time it was either in a Kabbalistic, proper Torah meditation, or while they were sleeping, that they got prophecy from God via angels, because the only one that God himself spoke to was Moses, not even Abraham. It was an angel who gave him this prophecy, okay, and his visions. It's very clear in the Kabbalistic writings that the holier someone is, the more the angels of God have power to properly give them visions. Now, without knowing you, I will tell you that it's very clear. Unless somebody, number one, for someone to be, and even someone who's fairly holy, who does all of the above, even a lot of what you're getting in a dream, a lot of it is, even if it, let's say 80% is truth or 90% is truth, you're still getting lies and falsehoods and twisted stuff in there. It's never 100% accurate unless you're a Moses or an Abraham or Jesus or something like that, which with all due respect, I'm pretty sure you're not. I know I'm nowhere close to that. I'm not even 1% of that, okay? Now it says that for someone to get even decent, proper visions, even for half of it or 60 or 70% of it to be truth, ideally, it helps if you're a Hebrew. I'm assuming that you're not. So let's put that aside. You need to follow the majority of God's commandments. 10 commandments. If you're not Hebrew, the 7 Noahide laws. You need to have an extreme faith in God. Extreme. You need to be willing to die for God. You need to study the Torah, the Old Testament, but not one translated by the church. An authentic, translated Torah, Old Testament, from an ultra-Orthodox source. So you know the translation is accurate. You need to read it and you need to study it for years and years and years. Once you've done that, then at that point, if you're even semi-holy, you can consider studying Kabbalah, which, by the way, it is suggested that most people don't. Even most ultra-Orthodox Jews don't delve into Kabbalah, okay? So you would have to study Torah, be willing to die for God, study Kabbalah well, know it fairly well, be quite holy, to even hope that a percentage, or let's say a majority of the vision you're getting is accurate. I don't know you, and I don't want to assume, but I study Torah, I study Kabbalah, I try to follow many of God's commandments. I'm Hebrew. I'm willing to die for God. I don't pay attention to what I see generally in my dreams. Neither should you. With all due respect. Okay? I fall into a good part of the majority of what should be done to be able to say that most of what I see in my dream, at least most of it, should be accurate. I don't pay attention to my dreams. So if I don't, with all due respect, neither should you. And that's why dream interpretation's a crock of shit. Okay? The big Kabbalists sometimes were able to interpret dreams because they were at a level where they could see the truth, and more importantly, they could see the falsehoods when someone was dreaming. So they know what was real and what wasn't. But you're talking 0.0000001% of anyone that have ever lived who had that capability. So I wouldn't give too much credence to your dreams. Don't worry about it. God bless. Oh, is that Mrs. Surgery? Oh, what do I think of the Mandela effect? False memories or jumping planes without knowing. I think there's a little bit of everything in there, Mrs. Surderish. They want us to believe a lot of things that are not true, that are not real. Okay, and that's a fact. There's a lot of trickery when it comes to Mandela effect. I'd say even probably black magic. I don't trust most of it. They're playing around with shit. They're playing around. A lot of it is brainwashing. A lot of it is programming. So I don't really delve too deeply into it, because it certainly, there's, at least in my humble opinion, there's a lot of evil forces at work there. Thank you for the question. I'm going to go to Mario, and then I see one in French from Marlène there. When you say that parts of the soul come back after death, is that the same as living another human life? Yes, it is exactly the same, Mario. When someone reincarnates, it's not the entirety of their soul, it's part of their soul. And from that part, it's very complicated, which is why I can't go into detail, but it's part of the soul. So you could have many, many soulmates, for example, that come from one part of your soul, but it's a small piece that are in other souls. So yes, that's what I mean. When someone reincarnates, it's a piece of their soul. Like I said, it's very complicated. So thanks for the question, buddy. We'll go here to Marlène. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire quand tu commences à dormir, si tu dois faire le saut pour retourner dans ton lit, car je me sens monter au plafond? Tu as monté au plafond? Did I understand that right? Je vais lire ça encore parce que ma femme parle français très bien. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire quand tu commences à dormir, si tu dois faire le saut pour retourner dans ton lit, car je me sens monter au plafond et j'ai peur?
It's almost like she's feeling herself.
Est-ce que tu es endormi, Marlène? Je comprends pas. T'es endormi ou t'es pas endormi? C'est avant de dormir?
She's feeling herself climbing.
C'est comme si ton âme est comme au plafond. Je me sens monter. Quand tu dors, c'est ça, Marlène? Écoute, je sais pas. Je dirais que probablement il y a un problème là. Je veux pas que tu capotes. Je veux pas que tu capotes ou deviens trop nerveux. Ou que tu aies trop peur, mais tu as un peu raison d'avoir peur, pour être franc. C'est pas une bonne chose, ça se peut qu'il y a des entités chez toi qui font ça. Écoute, je sais pas où tu habites, là, dans quel coin, mais je pense, si jamais ça te tente, on peut avoir une conversation un peu plus privée pour voir si vraiment tu as besoin de l'aide, puis si tu n'es pas trop loin, Je vais discuter comment ça fonctionne mes services si jamais ça te tente. Va sur mon site web jaredheavensmessenger.com. Utilise la forme de contact. Écris un peu plus de détails quand tu m'envoies le courriel, puis je vais te revenir, mais sans comprendre au complet ce que tu me demandes ou ce que tu me dis. Basé sur ce que je vois ou ce que tu as dit, je dirais que fort probablement tu as possiblement des entités chez toi qui causent ça. Puis ça peut devenir très, très, très dangereux pour toi si c'est le cas. OK? Alors, en attendant, prie fort avant de dormir, prie quand tu réveilles. Puis tu peux toujours me contacter via mon site web. Je vais prendre deux autres questions, two more questions. One English, one French. So let me take one here in English from Christina. I understand that tarot cards are evil. How do they invite this evil by reading a card? So, Christina, you understand semi-correctly. A tarot card in and of itself, a card is not evil. What it's used for is evil. And when it's used with spiritual intention, it opens portals. That's how it becomes evil, and we're not supposed to do that. God said, because people, why would someone use a tarot card? If someone buys a pack of tarot cards because it's fancy and they have nice pictures of what they think angels look like, and believe me, angels look absolutely nothing like what you people think they look like. You should read some of the descriptions, for example, of Ezekiel and his chariot visions, and you're going to have a much better idea what you think angels look like. You have absolutely no idea. Forget what the church tells you. But a deck of tarot cards is pretty. It looks nice. But they're designed that way to get people interested. Oh, wow, look, that looks really fancy. It's nice. But someone who buys a deck of tarot cards just to look at the deck because they like it, I personally wouldn't do it. But it's not the end of the world. But most people use tarot to predict the future, to get information for the future. And by doing so, it's opening portals, and that's how it becomes evil. That's why God says, the big magicians, so to speak, in ancient Egypt, in ancient Babylon, in ancient Persia, they used to very often use these type of cards to do their black magic and to summon demons and entities and to predict or to try to prevent certain things from happening. So a card in and of itself is not evil. Using the card with spiritual intention, it is evil, and portals are being opened. Well, Jared, who are you? And I know some people, Jared, who are you? And I get them all, these new age freaks who think they're gurus because they bought a book on how to read tarot cards, and they read tarot cards for people, and they think they're spiritual gurus. You people are sick in the head. Let me tell you something. A monkey can learn how to do tarot cards. You're nothing special, you people. A monkey can do it. Okay, believe me. Any idiot off the street can learn how to do tarot cards. It doesn't impress me, and it shouldn't impress anyone else. Okay? Putting that aside, those who say, well, Jared, who are you to? It's not because you study Torah and Kabbalah that you know better, that you say tarot's evil. I don't have to. God does. He says it several times in the Torah and hundreds, if not thousands of times in different Kabbalistic works. I don't have to say it. God says it. He says it's evil, it's black magic, and these people are punishable by death. Death, 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 death. I have to say it again, death. And people who go to see them are punishable by death, 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 death. Am I clear? It's not Jared who says it's evil. I'm not saying this to you, Christine. I'm saying it for anyone watching who's like, yeah, what does he know? Well, you fools, go ahead and play. And when you meet your maker and he says, you didn't know it was evil, you can't say, I didn't know, because you know what they will tell you? I promise you. Weren't you watching Jared's live when he told you how evil this is? And what are you people going to say? Well, we thought he was a crackpot. We weren't sure he knew what he was talking about. Excellent. Thank you, Christine. I love your questions. You're the best. Thank you. And I'm going to take one more Question. Here, let's see here what my buddy Fred has to say. On va voir ce qu'il a à dire. Fred, cette dernière question. Puis tous les autres que la question, je n'ai pas répondu parce que déjà, c'est déjà 5 minutes plus que je m'attendais. On fait déjà 1h35 minutes. Pour ceux qui n'ont pas eu la chance de demander des questions, s'il vous plaît, marquez-le, prenez un screenshot, quelque chose de même. OK? Puis ce que vous pouvez faire, c'est la prochaine live, vous pouvez mettre deuxième fois question et répéter la question. Puis je vais vous donner à vous autres la priorité. OK? Alors, for those that didn't get, I'm going to answer Fred's question just un instant, Fred, je réponds à ça un instant. For those who didn't have their questions answered, because we're already a little bit over time here, I can't answer all of them, unfortunately. The next live, please keep your question, take a screenshot, do what you have to do, write it down, doesn't matter. Next week's live, doesn't matter what the topic is. What you can do is you can mark in the question, second time question, and then write the question. I'm going to give you people priority if I wasn't able to answer your question, okay? But hang in there because after I answer this question, I want to say a few things. Fred demande quand tu dis kabbaliste, rabais, pas rabais comme un discount sur le magasin. Rabbin, Fred. Par rapport aux chamans des natifs, tu veux dire des Premières Nations, back in the days, to the few who still practice, were les kabbalists too? Non. Tu dois comprendre quelque chose, Fred, que le Kabbalah, en premier, comment je dis ça? C'est une manière ésotérique plus profonde du Torah. Ça veut dire que c'est une manière de penser hébreu, juif, en premier. Il y a certaines qui ne sont pas juifs qui l'étudient, absolument. Mais le Kabbalah spécifiquement, ça prend le Torah, l'Ancien Testament, puis ça va beaucoup plus profondément. OK? C'est l'écriture, c'est la connaissance, c'est le hétéricisme le plus profond qui existe depuis tous les temps. Même ça dit que Abraham lui-même était un grand kabbaliste. Adam et Ève étaient des kabbalistes. Moïse était kabbaliste. D'après moi, je sais que Jésus était un grand kabbaliste. Alors, des chamans, des Amérindiens, des choses de même, eux autres avaient des différentes connaissances parce qu'avant de même aller à une première page de n'importe quelle écriture kabbalistique, puis il y a des milliers d'écritures kabbalistiques. OK? Avant d'ouvrir une page de n'importe quelle écriture kabbalistique, c'est important d'étudier le Torah pour supposer, si possible, 40 ans. OK? Mais il y a un minimum de connaissances qu'on doit avoir de l'Ancien Testament, le Torah, et un minimum de base de compréhension en hébreu, des lettres hébreues et comment ça fonctionne. Sans ça, quelqu'un qui lit des écritures kabbalistiques, ça serait juste une lecture. Ils vont absolument, même s'ils pensent qu'il apprend quelque chose, il apprend absolument rien. Alors, non. Les anciens kabbalistes, puis les grands rabbins, puis la plupart des rabbins n'étaient pas des kabbalistes. Okay? C'est un petit pourcentage. Mais non, c'est très, très, très différent, mais c'est une très, très, très bonne question, Fred. Merci beaucoup. So, je veux dire quelque chose. Merci pour tout le monde d'être là. Guys, I'm going to say it in English in a minute, please. Don't disappear. Loli, mon ami Loli, Champagne, merci beaucoup, mon ami. C'est très gentil, le super chat. Merci, c'est très apprécié. Et un autre super chat, Anne-Marie Leonard, my friend. Oh, wow, $20. Oh, thank you. God bless you, Anne-Marie. Super, super kind. Always unexpected. God bless you. Guys, I'm going to say something in French and I'm going to say it in English. Please hang around. I want you to hear this. Je lance un autre appel. Si vous connaissez quelqu'un qui pratique dans la nouvelle âge, ou quelqu'un qui font les cartes de tarot, ou quelqu'un qui fait le Reiki, ou quelqu'un qui fait des autres traitements énergétiques similaires, mais pas nécessairement exactement le Reiki. Si tu connais quelqu'un qui se prend, qui disent qu'ils font des lecture des âmes, ou quelqu'un qui est un passeur des âmes. Ça, pour moi, c'est... Anyways, quelqu'un qui est un passeur d'âme, ou quelqu'un, et ça, pour moi, c'est peut-être même pire qu'un passeur d'âme, quelqu'un qui dit qu'ils font des lectures akashiques. Pouf, pouf! Juste en disant ça, j'ai le goût d'un cigare et toute une bouteille de scotch. Là. OK? Que quelqu'un qui dise qu'ils font des lectures akashiques quand c'est juste Dieu lui-même qui a accès au akashique. Mais Jean-Guy Patate a accès aux lectures akashiques. Anyways, si vous connaissez quelqu'un de même, je lance un appel s'il y a quelqu'un, même 2, même 3, même 4, jusqu'à peut-être 2, 3 personnes, qui veut venir la semaine prochaine sur mon live. OK? On va avoir une conversation. Je veux que quelqu'un m'explique pourquoi il pense qu'il travaille pour Dieu. Je veux qu'il essaye de me convaincre qu'il travaille pour Dieu. Mais tu peux leur dire. Puis jusqu'à date, il n'y a personne qui avait assez de courage pour le faire. Moi, si j'ai tort, ça ne me dérange pas de dire que j'ai fait une faute. Crois-moi. OK? Mais je lance un appel. Je veux que j'ai quelqu'un, minimum une personne, si pas 2 ou 3, qui sont prêtes à venir sur mon live, qui sont poignés dans le nouvel âge, qui jouent dans ça, un maître Reiki ou un passeur d'âme ou quelqu'un qui font des lectures akashiques. Si vous connaissez quelqu'un, s'il vous plaît, partagez ça sur tous vos appels de médias sociaux et quand vous le partagez, mettez Jared cherche quelqu'un qui joue dans le nouvel âge, quelqu'un qui est un pratiqueur de nouvel âge, de tarot, ou Reiki, ou passeur d'âme, ou lecture akashique, qui est prêt à faire un débat avec lui sur le nouvel âge, sur son live. Mario, thank you very much. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mario. Grazie. Grazie mille. Grazie mille, paisans. OK? Alors, partagez ça, s'il vous plaît. Mettez des commentaires. S'il vous plaît, likez-le. Très important. On a discuté beaucoup de bonnes choses. C'est important que tout le monde ait une chance d'écouter ça. Et s'il vous plaît, si vous connaissez quelqu'un, dis-leur de venir sur mon live, de m'envoyer un courriel. Tu peux aller sur mon site web, jaredheavensmessenger.com, ou aller sur mon Facebook, envoie-moi un message. OK? Merci et merci pour tout le monde qui ont donné ce super chat. C'est très gentil, c'est très apprécié. Puis, sans vous, j'ai rien. Que Dieu vous bénisse. Maintenant, je vais dire en anglais. Guys, in English. Number 1, please like the video. Very important. Please share it on all your social media. Well, we talked about a lot of incredible things, important things today. Give others a chance. Okay, don't keep it for yourself. Don't be greedy. Share. God says share with the less fortunate. People need this information. Share it on all your social media. And another reason why I want you to do that. Very important. Okay? Very important. Nobody yet, I've already asked people to come on my live, people that are in the new age, who are new age practitioners, Reiki masters, people who do tarot for a living, other energy work, people who call themselves soul passers, or like people who help spirits get back. In French, it's passeur d'âme, someone who helps a soul go back to heaven. I mean, to me, it's mental illness, but I'd love to have some of these people on my show, believe me. People who, and some of the worst, if not the worst, is those who do so-called Akashic readings, when God himself is the only being in existence, because it's his mind, the Akashic. It's everything that's ever happened. It's in his consciousness. For someone to claim to have access, when God himself says it's only me. Okay? But there are people, there are hundreds, if not thousands of these nut jobs who claim to be doing that they could tap into God's consciousness and tell you what you need to know. If that's not mental illness, then by God, I don't know what is mental illness, but I'm willing to be wrong. I can admit if I'm wrong. I would love for someone, please, if you know anyone who does Reiki, who does tarot readings, who claims to do Akashic readings, who does soul readings, whatever the soul reading is. Okay? Someone who claims to pass spirits back to the other side because God can't do it himself. We need Jean-Guy Patat to help get the spirits back that he himself sent. But okay, I'm calling again. No one has had the courage yet to come and debate me on my live. I have no problem if someone comes on here and tries to make me look stupid. I welcome it. Believe me. Okay? If you know anyone who's in any way one of these New Age practitioners, tell them I want them on my show. They can go on my website, jaredheavensmessenger.com. They can contact me from there. They can find me on Facebook. I'm all over the place. And they can message me. I want them to tell me why they think they work for God. I want them to tell me why they think God is okay with what they do. I want someone to try to convince me that what they're doing is holy. Okay? I'm open to it. And I would love to have this happen next week. So please share this. And anyone you know, I want to legitimately hear. I will hear what they have to say. I will certainly tell them what I have to say. And assuming that I'm completely against what it is they're going to say, I'm going to give proofs backing up why it is that I say what I say. Whereas all these people are going to tell me is that their spirit guide, I'm not sure who it is, maybe their Aunt Mary, but their spirit guide is telling them that it's God or Jesus using their body. A monkey can tell me while he's eating a banana that Jesus is using his body. It doesn't tell me. I want someone to come on my live and try to convince me that the New Age movement is actually from God. Considering that Doreen Virtue, who was the biggest New Age guru in North America and Europe, she's the one most responsible for the New Age movement being as big as it is, herself left the New Age movement and went back to God. Okay? So please share this and tell people, if you know anyone who's a New Age practitioner, maybe someone who thinks they're a shaman because they work on St. Catherine Street and they took a course and they have a certificate, I want these people on my live. Thank you for being here. I can't do my live without you. It takes people to watch. Please share it. Very important. God bless you. For those who gave super chats, honestly, God bless you. It's very much appreciated. It's never expected. But it's always, always appreciated, believe me. So thank you once again for being here. God bless you.